Hey everyone, it's Debbie Potts, and I'm sitting here on the floor in my glass house because the sun is shining. It's probably in the glass house. There's windows around, obviously. So the sun is out, it's every angle. So I'm hiding down here on the floor so I can get ready for an interview with Catharine Arnston from ENERGYbits. And we've talked to her a couple times over the years. And what I want to talk about today and this month is talking about nutritional therapy, kind of biohacking for recovery and repair from your workouts. So think of food as medicine, how we can get more nutrients from our food. So choosing the most highest level nutrient dense foods. I don't like eating organ meats, but if you do, that is a great option. Looking at liver and good grass-fed sources of organ meats. But if you are vegetarian, there are options as ENERGYbits and their recovery bits because they are algae based, chlorella and spirulina we're going to talk about. But when to take foods that are going to help your recovery. So talking this month about recovery, repair, post-workout, not having antioxidants afterwards. Simlan just had a post recently on post-workout. You want to let your body do what it's supposed to do as its own innate intelligence. So when to add in antioxidants and a hot cold shower and anti-inflammatories, not right after your workout. So there is a timing for everything. So when I work with clients, I do kind of a supplement audit. Let's kind of go through what you have and do nutritional therapy analysis, do a food log assessment, and look at your energy, look at your poop, look at your workouts and nutrient timing and what you're getting from your nutrition, from your food you're eating. Most people actually don't even digest their food properly. Most people have dysbiosis and bacteria overgrowth, parasites, candida, things like that we need to test, not guess. But I think a lot of times we just need to figure out, what are you doing? Where can we kind of course correct and adjust, but working on recovery and repair so we can bounce back faster as an aging athlete is important. There's certain things that we can add in, but when to add them in, if it's before bed, if it's in the morning, pre-workout, post-workout, what should we do and when? I will try to cover that this month. So I am trying to do a Thursday Debbie solo cast podcast. So if you have some specific topics that you want me to cover, I would love to hear from you. And then I can research and put together some information into slides and figure out what specific topic we'll go into for 30 minutes or so on a Thursday. So let's bring on Catharine and talk about the benefits for fat loss, performance, and longevity are my three areas I try to focus on for the low carb athlete. And we'll talk to energybits.com is their website. There's information on for athletes on that page, energybits.com blog, ENERGYbits work athletes, and lots of other research. So we'll ask Catharine about it, and she is filled with knowledge, and you might need to listen to it a few times because she usually has so much to share. She talks really fast because she's from Boston. So hold on. All right, I have the expert on algae, Catharine, back on the show. We were just talking in our intro, Catharine, the importance of working on fat loss, performance, longevity for the endurance athlete, but really in my area is the aging athlete, as I'm suddenly 5'1" tomorrow. I still say I'm 35. Plus
Hey,
16, but
yeah, I'm way ahead of you. And besides, aging is not the same as declining. It's just age does not have to equal decline. So that's what we're going to talk about.
yeah, so I'm all about kind of a quote biohacking the aging process with nutritional therapy, and you're my go-to person all the time for the importance of what we can take to help improve the performance when we're exercising, but also we take longer to repair and recover from a workout, focusing on not losing that muscle, how we can get more protein in, and then also how to optimize our sleep as our hormones change and we really want to get our sleep better so we can get that recovery repair while we're sleeping. So let's just kind of review your company, ENERGYbits. I'll find the show notes for the past podcasts we've done before, but just give us a rundown. Let's kind of dive into the newest research too after that.
Yeah. Well, a quick short summary is for those who didn't see the first or hear the first podcast. Algae was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago. And it is a food. It is not a supplement. First of all, algae does exist in the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, and the streams. But the two algae we're going to be talking about today, spirulina and chlorella, do not come from the ocean. I'm going to say that again. They are not from the ocean. Algae does exist in the ocean. Spirulina is a blue-green algae, and there is blue-green algae in the ocean. And chlorella is a green algae, and there is green algae in the ocean. But that's not the ones we're talking about. And the reason why that's important is because our algae and spirulina and chlorella in general, because they're not from the ocean, do not have the toxins that come from finding stuff that's in the ocean. It's a very big issue right now. Nobody else is as pure as algae as we do, because we grow ours in triple filtered spring mountain water. And spirulina, those are you who are watching the YouTube, I'm showing you that spirulina is a blue-green algae and chlorella is a green algae, because what we do, as I said, is we grow it in triple filtered spring mountain water. So it's a harvested crop. By the way, it's all grown in Asia. 99% of algae is grown in Asia, including ours. We grow ours in Taiwan. In Asia, especially Japan, they've been taking it every day for 50 years. Every day. And the Japanese are known for having the best longevity, lowest cancer rates, lowest obesity rates, great skin and hair. And so we're the first premium brand of algae in the world. And I'm here to educate you about why you need to be taking this too, because it works. It works for longevity, it works for performance, it works for brain power. But anyways, we grow it in fresh water, then we air dry it into a powder. Unlike everybody else that use high heat, we do not use high heat. This is very important when we talk about mitochondria. And there's an antioxidant called superoxide dismutase that will protect your mitochondria from damage. And athletes, listen up. One of the highest concentrations of mitochondria are in the cells of your muscles. So if you want longevity, you want performance, you want mobility, you need to look after your mitochondria. And superoxide dismutase, which is an enzyme, is one of the ways to do it. But we are one of the few companies whose superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD, is alive and well. So anyways, we air dry it, and then we press it into these little tablets that I love, because they are about the size of a baby aspirin, and you can swallow them. If you don't like the taste of vegetables or greens or anything, you are off the hook, because you swallow these babies down. You need about at least 10 to feel any benefits. We'll talk about the 2 in a second. No aftertaste, no burping up like fish oil. They're down the hatch and they stay down there and they go to work right away. So, and there's so much nutrition in each tablet. Each one has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables that you didn't have to clean, cook, or eat. That is efficient nutrition. I also call it intelligent food, because you have to be intelligent to take it, and it knows what to do in your body.
Well, so I want to throw in, though, I think it's something to talk about too later on, but I'll just say it now. But just there's so many issues of vegetables and people not being able to digest them. Yeah. So we've got the oxalate. I was just talking about this oxalate, phytates, lectins, FODMAPs, all this stuff that people go to a strict carnivore gut reset repair program because of the problems with all these different vegetables, that most people still think having kale in my smoothie is good for me, having all this spinach, and they don't realize that is healthy, but it's not healthy for your gut. And so this is a great, just thought of that, how important ENERGYbits are for an athlete who doesn't want to eat the vegetables because they don't do well with a salad anymore. And that this is a good way, because I think a lot of times people are trying to do for protein, prioritizing the protein. But what if you want to feed the microbiome and help get all those nutrients in instead of having all the vegetables? This is a good alternative plan.
Well, there's a book called The Plant Paradox, which is written by Dr. Stephen Gundry, and I've been on his podcast twice.
Oh, good.
And he points this very fact, and he is a huge fan of algae. Why? Because there are no lectins, phytates, or oxalates in algae. All of those things are in plants, like spinach, as you mentioned, and kale. And they're very pointy proteins that can damage your stomach lining, puncture holes in them, which cause food to get into your bloodstream and can lead to autoimmune. It's a huge issue. Now, the reason why plants have those is as they develop them evolutionarily as a defense mechanism to because they taste terrible to bugs and animals who would be predators and kill the plant. Well, algae is not a land plant. Algae came from the ocean. It's never had to develop lectins or oxalates or phytates as a defense mechanism. So bingo, you get all the nutrition of plants with none of what's called anti-nutrients. In fact, it's 1,000 times more nutrition. We have a quote from NASA that says 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables. 1 to 1,000. And as you're going to learn in a minute, it also has the highest protein in the world by weight. 3 times the amount of protein as steak, but no mTOR pathway stimulation, so it does not stimulate any kind of cancer cells. And as you're going to find out, it has 4 times the glutathione that meat has. So it's unbelievable. And spirulina, as you'll find out in a minute, has no fiber. So if you have an issue with fiber, spirulina is going to be your best friend because it gets absorbed instantly, no lectins or oxalates, gives you the 40 vitamins and minerals you need, gives you the protein you need, and no downside. It is as close to the perfect food as you are ever going to get. Mother's breast milk is the first one. Spirulina and chlorella algae are the next 2. But thanks for pointing that out. And by the way, as you get older, and I'm in that category because I'm older than you, a lot of people any longer to even digest the veg. So spirulina, it just sails through because it literally requires no digestion. It gets absorbed so fast, which is probably the good segue to talk about the slight differences between the 2 algae and as an athlete, when you should take them and why you should take them. And before I go into that, I'm going to make one more point about vegetables. The vegetables that you have no resemblance to the vegetables of 50 years ago. Our soils are so damaged, there's no minerals left for the plants to pull up any nutrients, or they are grown so far away that they are harvested before they are ripe, which means there are fewer enzymes, fewer nutrients in them. So you're getting calories and fiber, which can cause stomach distress, and lectins and oxalates and all that other crappy stuff, but you're not getting nutrition. Chlorella and algae is the most nutrient-dense food, just as an example, is 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula. So don't worry about, you never have to eat another one if you don't want to, because you'll get all the nutrients, not the fiber necessarily, but you will get fiber and chlorella. But it's the most efficient way to feed your body and give you the optimal nutrition you need for performance and recovery. Okay, that's out of the way. So what's the difference between the 2 of them, and when do you take them as an athlete? Spirulina is when you take spirulina, which we call ENERGYbits, prior to your workout. We would encourage you at least 10, 15 or 20 is better. If you're doing a hard run, a long weightlifting, or you're in a competition, take 30. And we have them in small pouches. We call them travel pouches that have 30 in them. But nonetheless, take them before your workout, 10, 15 minutes before your workout. Take them during the workout. We have endurance athletes, people, ultra runners go 100 miles on water and spirulina. Why does it work so well? It has, as I mentioned, the highest concentration of protein in the world, 18 of the 20 aminos, including the 9 that your body can't make. So number 1, it's a complete protein. Number 2, it has no fiber. Spirulina is a cyanobacteria, which means it has no cellulose wall. So it gets absorbed into your bloodstream almost instantly, literally bypassing, digestion. I mean, technically not bypassing. And if you chew it, it does get into your body in seconds sublingually. Most people, I will tell you, swallow them because they're very earthy and very chewy because of the high protein, high in essential fatty acids. And spirulina is very high in B vitamins. The B vitamins convert this protein into energy so that you have the energy for brain power, because it also has high boron, which helps with synapses, and it's a vasodilator, which opens your blood vessels so you have more blood and oxygen flowing. It has the high concentration of iron, which carries oxygen. So it's a very energizing, mentally and physically, food to take. It will not upset your stomach. There is no caffeine, chemicals, or sugar, no carbs. Those of you who are ketogenic, those of you who are carnivore, no carbs. You can intermittent fast. So if you were thinking, as you mentioned earlier, out on fasted, but
fasted exercise,
don't want to eat into your muscles, this is your solution, because it has protein in it and it gets into your bloodstream. It's not protein because all the proteins are already in aminos and they get absorbed instantly. It's very, very efficient pre-workout fuel. So this is your number one for getting the energy you want. And when we talk about the mitochondria, I'll get into a little bit deeper, because it also has some of the critical antioxidants you need, like that one called superoxide dismutase, which protects your mitochondria DNA from damage. And your mitochondria are what generate energy for everything, including all of your muscular activities. So you want to protect your mitochondria long-term to extend your athletic career, because when you have compromised mitochondria, you are going to have a compromised performance. It's that simple. So anyways, but it gives you cellular energy long-term and instant energy short-term. Talk about a sweet deal, right?
Yeah, you're a good salesperson. Well, exactly. I think it's important to talk about the conversation this whole year on this podcast is about when to fast before a workout or not. Like, when should you have some calories? And there's a lot of research for women. Females that are cycling still, they need to be careful not to interrupt their hormone balances, kisspeptin hormone, that your body is going to be stressed by not having enough calories. So having a little bit of calories before a workout for a female can be beneficial to improving performance. And I think, adding a little bit something like this teaches your body, oh, I have some fuel. I'm not, under attack. I'm not running from a lion. There's not an emergency or a threat, but having a little bit of something beforehand keeps you in that fat burning state, doesn't spike your glucose, and still can keep you feeling energized in your workout. But I think it's so many people got so strict, and I used to do this too, is fasting, too long. Like, I would be so strict, like 4 o'clock, I'm done eating. Don't have anything after that, because you don't want to mess up your intermittent fast. But if you are a healthy, metabolically healthy athlete and a female athlete, you do need to add more protein. We'll get to that topic. But when you could add a little something that actually enhances your performance and not feel like, oh, I'm cheating, I can't have anything. Because I think people are so driven, ambitious type AAA personalities that are athletes that they just follow everything to a T and not go, okay, is this helping me or is this hindering my performance and my recovery?
Well, I can't think of a single age group, lifestyle, food choice, or anything where this would not improve. Whatever you will up level. This is the hack of all hacks. This up levels all other hacks, and it's its own hack on its own. And I know those of you who don't know me or don't know my passion for algae, I am not ever going away, because this will change your life. And it's like, I'll tell you now, I'm 66. Okay. No Botox. Speaking of which, ladies and men, you work out to have lots of power and have a great, strong body. But sometimes you get so lean that you're missing out on nutrients that you start to look pretty gnarly and wrinkles, right? That's not a good look for anybody. No. This contains more collagen than collagen powder. So it's not only boosting your skin and your cartilage and your joints, but it also has those important antioxidants that prevent the free radical damage of your skin. So here you might want to take it for a great workout, but you're going to get other benefits like improving the look of your skin and the functionality of your joints. And
is that the same as your vitality bits? Are those the same, or is it
algae?
The two,
but either one of them would be fine. But I just want to point out that there's many more benefits beyond improving your performance. There's things that improve the health of every part of your body, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyways, this is your pre-workout, during workout, and later on we'll talk about sleep and recovery. And let's get to that now. So
but hold on, I'm just going to tie this up. So pre-workout, we want to do like 10 to 15 minutes beforehand, have 10 to 20
minimum 10 minimum
10 minimum, up to 20
If
or
you're-
even 30 if you're
yeah, if
racing.
you're at least, like, listen, our NHL players take 75 spirulina
Yeah.
before a game, and they take 75 chlorella after a game, and there's no upper limit. This is not a pill. This is not a supplement. This is not a drug. It's just food. We call them bits because they're bits of food. So we found, our pro athletes, they needed 30 tablets to feel something to extend. And by the way, the energy you get from it's not a stimulant. There's no caffeine, chemicals, or sugars or carbs. It's just raw nutrition. So the best way you probably won't even notice it, except during your workout, you won't fatigue, you will run further or faster, you'll lift more or heavier, and you won't even notice it. So it's very quiet energy, no rush, no crash. I mean, how fantastic is that? You just feel great. I tell people it's never too late to feel great. So whether you're a weekend warrior or a pro athlete or just getting into the rebounding and getting back into something, this is the answer for all of that, to improve, extend, and up level your outcomes.
So would you take anything during? So example, if you're doing a 3-4 hour bike ride, would you take a little pack of that?
Yes, yes, we sell. You can get them on Amazon. We also sell them in boxes of these little pouches. There's 30 tablets in a pouch. So our runners will take 30 before a marathon or something, and they'll chuck a couple of these in their shorts, and take another 10 every time you starting to fatigue. Now remember, it's great because spirulina gets into your bloodstream instantly, so you don't have to wait long to start feeling that boost back up. You could live on this forever and not have to eat a single thing. I'm the one that found out that the nutrient profile of spirulina is virtually identical to mother's breast milk. So, and we know mother's breast milk is the perfect food. So this is number 2.
Yeah. So, okay. So during, we could take, like, again, 20 to 30 of them, or do you have a, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say that. And then post workout, would you take it right afterwards, or do you wait longer? What would be the timing?
We recommend chlorella, and I would take it right away. Now, chlorella does belong to the plant kingdom, so it does have a cellulose wall, and in fact, it's the hardest cellulose wall in the plant kingdom. But here's a couple of great, and see how it just has the one pigment in it called chlorophyll, which is compared to spirulina, has the 2 pigments. So what does chlorella do? Well, that high chlorophyll, it is, as I mentioned earlier, the highest chlorophyll in the world, and chlorophyll has amazing healing benefits. Number 1, it is virtually the same chemical composition of your hemoglobin. So your blood, you can see close up of your chart, and we'll show it to you. When you have healthy blood, you're going to have better performance because you're going to have better oxygen in your blood. You're going to have nourishment through the capillaries to the muscles. You're going to have nourishment to your brain so that you stay focused. Building blood is critical to having a great performance, both as a human and certainly as an athlete. And chlorophyll does that, except there's no chlorophyll in any of our vegetables anymore because, as I mentioned earlier, the soil is so damaged. So chlorella has the highest chlorophyll in the world, 500 times, as I mentioned, compared to arugula, and 25 times more than liquid chlorophyll. So number 1, it builds your blood. And when you have healthy blood, you're going to have better VO2. You'll hit a better VO2 when you're doing oxygen testing. This is fantastic if you are cycling or running or performing or skiing at high altitudes. We have lots of athletes who've told us that this has helped them immeasurably when they are skiing or doing any kind of extreme sport in altitudes. We worked with some of the Olympic skiers for a while. So this increases your oxygen capability because of the high iron that's in the algae, but it's organic algae. I mean, it's not, you never want to take iron as a supplement because you can get toxicity. This is in a living food source. So it's really terrific for the oxygen capability. And large part of that comes also from the chlorophyll. So it's not just the iron, it's the chlorophyll. Number 2, chlorella has that hard cell wall that attaches to toxins, including lactic acid. So athletes, listen up. You want to have a faster recovery. This is why we called it ENERGYbits. This speeds up your recovery. It pulls out lactic acid. By the way, lactic acid is acidic, and your hemoglobin, going back to the blood, has a negative charge around it. And when you have too much acidic acid, it strips off the negative charge on your hemoglobin, so they clump. And when they're clumped, they can't move through your bloodstream to deliver oxygen. That slows down your recovery. And they can't get into the capillaries that feed all your muscles. That slows down your recovery. This corrects that. Whoops, backwards. This corrects that because of the high alkalinity, because of the high chlorophyll. And the hard cell wall pulls out lactic acid. By the way, it also pulls out all heavy metals, lead, mercury, radiation, even alcohol. And all of those will, if you have too many toxins, and the average adult has 800 toxins in their body these days, that slows down your performance, because your body, your cell wall, which are lipids, will have toxins attached to them, which block the receptors, which allow certain, hormones, ladies, hormones to get into your cells. You've got to clear out those heavy metals. But and this does it. It's been proven to do it. They used it at Chernobyl to pull out radiation. We work with biological dentists who use it to pull out mercury, but it pulls out lactic acid too. So A, you get a faster recovery from removing the lactic acid. B, it restores the alkalinity of your blood so that it can carry more oxygen, so you'll have a faster recovery. And then also, because that hard cell wall is made of fiber, it feeds your gut biome. They have used chlorella for decades for IBS, Crohn's disease, any gut issues. And so when you have a healthier gut biome, you're going to have a healthier brain, and you'll be a stronger athlete all around. And it also has the highest concentration of melatonin. Actually, no, spirulina does. It has the second highest, which helps you sleep. Now, both of them have the highest melatonin in the world. Spirulina has the highest, and chlorella has the second highest. And you may say to yourself, well, if it's got the high melatonin and you're telling me to use it for energy, won't it make you sleepy? No. Number two, so here's the thing about melatonin. Number one, they're realizing it is not just created by your pineal gland. It's created and used by all your mitochondria everywhere, including in your gut. And in fact, your gut has 400 times more melatonin than your pineal gland. And number two, melatonin only makes you sleepy at night, in the dark. So here, we've been selling ENERGYbits for 12 years, and it always works to give people energy, whether you're at work or running errands or running a marathon. I only tested for the melatonin this year, and in fact there was so much melatonin, I made the do the lab test twice, but it came back highest melatonin in the world. Crazy. So chlorella is second highest. So either one of them will help you sleep when you take it at night. We generally recommend spirulina in the morning, because that's when you want energy and focus for your workout for your day. And we generally recommend chlorella at night. Why? Because your body goes through a detox repair cycle when you're sleeping. And because it has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to melatonin, and it has the second highest melatonin in the world, this will get you a better sleep. Now, the good news is chlorella tastes pretty good. So it's very green, but it tastes more like a sunflower seed or soy nut. So I've been eating them with pistachio nuts. I have a salt and vinegar flavor. Or those of you who are ketogenic, macadamia nuts are even better. So you can have a bedtime snack and get the best sleep of your life, the best recovery of your life, and just, it's unbelievable. You don't have to have the macadamia nuts if you don't want. You can just put some sea salt on these. But so for dosage amounts, 10 of these a day, just like 10 of the spirulina a day, will give you some energy, and this will give you some wellness. This is a wellness algae. This is an energizing algae. So this is morning, this is night. This is for your brain. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is for your gut. So up. So this works top down. This works bottom up. Okay.
Got it.
So, but for detox, you need the full 30 tablets. And the good news is, because it tastes pretty good, it's not such a bad deal. But you want to get that detox, because when you sleep, your brain shrinks, so you can clear out all the aluminum. This pulls out all the lactic acid, all the garbage you've been exposed to, starts repairing all the muscles, heals your gut. So it's literally the cleanup crew. You're getting your beauty rest, your cleanup crew is doing all the hard work for you. And you get up and it stimulates peristalsis, so you get that bowel movement out of the way. Happy day.
So I think that's important just to pause on that sleep, because as you're saying, recovery and repair is what we really want to focus on as athletes and aging athletes. Happens when we're sleeping mostly, right? So we want to enhance that detoxification process and enhance our sleeping. So it's creating a sleep hygiene routine. Like I need to stop eating 3 hours before bed is my thing, because I can't eat food and then go to bed. But I could eat
You could have these.
recovery bits and still help. Yeah. So I can still have something.
There's 0 carbs. So
you don't, well, it's not that the carbs, is more that, because carbs sometimes help people sleep better at night, but they're help. I don't have to digest them is my point. Like I don't have to break them down, like having some solid food that is, I have to digest. And so that interrupts my sleep. But having something like that can help improve my sleep, be a toxic binder while I'm sleeping. So when my body's doing its thing while I'm sleeping, because I track my sleep with my Oura ring and my heart rate variability score. So it's interesting to kind of use that as a binder and help enhance the process of recovery, repair, and detoxification while I'm sleeping. And then you can see maybe if the heart rate variability is improved, if your deep sleep is improved, and see if any of those markers you can feel a difference or see a difference.
Yeah. And it's truly amazing. And we've had Olympic athletes and teams write us that they took it, originally for the recovery from pulling out the lactic acid. But if any of you are on a team or play on a team sport, you travel in buses together, you're often bunking together. And if one person gets a cold, it spreads like wildfire. This will protect you because this builds your immune system. It has all of the nutrients that your immune system, which by the way, 80% of it is in your gut, needs to create all those T cells, B cells, killer cells, macrophages that you need to protect you when you are exposed to something. So it's an immune builder. And as you get older, you can, and when you perform as an athlete, particularly if you're in a race, you're stressing your immune system. And so the recovery is not just a muscular recovery, it's an immune recovery. Because if you don't recover on that immune sort of profile, then you wear yourself down, and then you get exposed to a greater chance of getting sick or not having a better performance next time. So it's not just pulling out the lactic acid, it's not just helping you with the repair cycle while you're sleeping, it's that immune builder. And again, that's what we call the recovery bits, because it helps you recover your overall health at the same time. They've used chlorophyll, again, it has the highest chlorophyll, was used forever until the pharmaceutical industry got involved about 50 years ago. Whenever people were having surgeries, they would give them liquid chlorophyll because it built their blood and helped them recover as fast as a blood transfusion would. So think of it literally as your, health insurance. That's what I call it. It's not just nutrition. This is nutrition insurance. This is your health insurance. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important also to know, like my program when I coach people is the holistic method. So nutrition and exercise, but sleep hygiene routine, stress management, movement, mobility, digestion, gut health, hydration, happiness, gratitude, play. So we're talking about, nutrition, exercise, but how important sleep part is. But then you just touched on the word stress, and every athlete has excessive stress because they're trying to fit in their workouts on top of a busy life, family, friends, full-time job, and then we're just fitting in training. And then your body's being additional stress because the way we train, a lot of times people do too much exercise and not enough recovery. And then they're doing too much high heart rate or that black hole training. But then also athletes that are training long distance in the heat, they're showing, they're going to lower your immune system and you increase your gut permeability. So you're promoting leaky gut. So we've got all this stuff. That's why I focus on this podcast, to be fit and healthy and happy from the inside out. And you really need to address, what am I doing to I'm breaking my body down with this training method to do races and events, but really focus on how to optimize your health and longevity with the food you eat. And
Right.
going back to food is medicine, and how
Right.
important it is to invest in nutrition to really take care of yourself, because you're hammering your body with your workouts.
Well, and you raise a good point too, with all those, the training, the family, the work, the workouts. When is there time to cook, right?
No.
So one of the things people love so much about this is that this is literally a meal replacement, either one of them. But this one we generally recommend because it gives you more energy. But in seconds, if you took 30 of these, that's your meal in seconds, and you haven't cheated yourself of any nutrients at all in 30 seconds. So we have doctors who can't, they're seeing so many patients, they don't have time to eat. And by the way, if you aren't eating under calm circumstances, it's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. And if you can't get into that that's parasympathetic rest and digest, you're giving yourself more harm, frankly, than good. So if you can't eat at a leisurely, calm state, which who has that every day, this is your answer to nourish your body so you can still be optimal in your mental and physical capabilities without any damage and without any time. And then this will, you could have both of them if you want. In fact, that's a good point. We have another brand called ENERGYbits, which is a blend of the two of them.
But that's what I always talk about, is what you eat when, and you can bring that up again, bring that package up. But the when, why, how, and how you're digesting is so important, because I work with people looking at their food logs, look at their timing, their nutrition with their exercise, look at their sleep scores, heart rate variability scores, look at their functional labs. And most people, when I especially do their labs, they have dysbiosis, they have leaky gut, they have parasites, because our first line of defense is broken and our kind of guards are weak and they're not protecting us. So what we eating mindfully, I just did a little video from Instagram this morning, actually. It's like, I have back-to-back appointments. I'm swimming masters at noon. I went for lifting this morning and run. I don't have time to eat a big meal, and I can't eat and swim.
We'll get you some more today.
That's like a good option. I just was like, put my collagen in my coffee, have some mushroom adaptogens, but it's like, I have a problem on busy days and a lot of athletes. And I just did a article on low energy availability, that a lot of athletes are not eating enough calories. And I want to focus on protein and mitochondria next, but I'm trying to get more protein in throughout the day, because I find myself, I can only eat one meal a day and feel good, but could I feel better? Am I harming myself?
The protein can take up to 3 days to digest. It takes a lot of work. So because this requires literally zero digestion, and digestion takes 15% of your energy, that's 15% more energy you have for brain power, athletic power. It's like moving money out of one account and into another account. You're not withdrawing. You're bulking up on energy because of what's not being used and not being required. And I challenge every single one of your listeners to just give yourself 1 month or a couple of months, buy a bag of ENERGYbits. If you took 10 a day, they would last 3 months, but I think for your community, probably 20 or 30 a day is better. And take these every day for a month in the morning or before you work, and take these every day before you go to bed. And I can almost promise you will see an improvement. And what have you got to lose? Because now you'll start to see how you can extend your life, period, but also your athletic compatibility, because this is nourishing you at levels that you just can't get from any other food anywhere. It doesn't matter what it is. Nothing is as efficient and deep and science-based, by the way. I don't say anything. I don't have literally hundreds of NIH articles, and there's 100,000 collectively on spirulina and chlorella. So I don't make any of this up. I am just the voice of the studies and the great research that's been done on algae, which has not been shared with you to date. People in Asia know all about it, but when are we going to be told about it, right?
That's why we podcast. So let's dive into protein. I've been talking all year about Dr. Gabrielle Leon, her or someone correct me, Lion, I always call her Leon, but the protein, muscle is the organ of longevity. Protein, we need ideal body weight. So say you want to weigh 150 pounds, you need 150 grams of protein a day. You only can absorb 30 to 50 grams at once. So
right.
doing OMAD one meal a day isn't going to hit your protein goal. And that's my focus, is improving the aging process and be lean and strong and fight the menopause myths. I'm going to get fat and lose muscle. So I think like biohacking menopause for and the aging process is adding protein in, but throughout the day. And like we just said, I'm too busy to cook a meal. So it's like, how can I get food in?
Right.
This is what I think is a great option for athletes that are busy,
Yeah.
top,
But I do
to
want to
get it
point
in.
out that, some people go, well, 30 tablets in one of these little pouches has just 5 grams of protein. You think, well, that's nothing. But let me tell you, your animal protein has to be broken down into amino acids before your body can absorb it. And so a sort of fist size of chicken would be on average about 50 grams of protein. But most of us do not have the factors and cofactors to break it down in an efficient way. And very often you end up absorbing that 50 grams, only 10% of it gets absorbed as aminos. So suddenly that 50 grams of chicken turned into 5 grams of aminos. Ta-da! You get 99.9% of all the protein in the algae, because instantly. So 5 grams is the equivalent of 50 grams of chicken or beef or fish. It's just efficient nutrition. It's far more efficient nutrition.
So sorry, just to interrupt, when you're processing all that, what's the difference if I did ENERGYbits, 5 grams of protein versus essential amino acids capsules, if I'm trying to get 5 grams of essential amino acids? I think that's a good point. Like, what's the profile differences? I know there's a lot, but just telling.
It's like, let's see, comparing the difference of going to work with just your shoes on or all your clothes. Why would you take amino acids separately when you can get all the same aminos and 40 other vitamins and minerals, and the highest concentration of chlorophyll in the world, and the highest concentration of the 4 antioxidants, the only 4 antioxidants that can protect your mitochondria from DNA damage, which protects you from aging and disease? Why would you cheat yourself of all of those benefits by just taking aminos in isolation? This is the orchestra of performance. Aminos are like a soloist. Sure, they're good, but go for the orchestra.
Yeah. So what's the profile of that, the amino acids on there compared to just pure essential? Like, do you get the whole essential amino acid profile with the leucine is what people say is higher? You want 3 to 5 grams of leucine, like in a whey protein shake, having whey protein. So I
don't have the thing.
Like, do we need to take to get enough protein in for recovery?
It has 18 of the 20 aminos, including the 9, as I mentioned, both of them, that your body can't make. So it's a complete protein. By the way, collagen powder is not a complete protein, does not have tryptophan. And also collagen powder is made from melted down, animal bones and hides. And what do they melt it down with? Chemicals. They don't tell you that. Collagen is everywhere now, but collagen powder, but you want to up level your collagen, you take algae, because it is ours is unprocessed, unheated, natural, sustainable, much healthier for you and for the earth. But it's got this complete a profile of aminos as you're going to get. But again, it's because its availability is the key compared to and there's no mTOR pathway stimulation. We had a question from someone earlier today who was asking about glutathione, because she had cancer, and glutathione has been known to stimulate all cells, not just healthy ones, but also cancer. But it doesn't happen in algae because it's the most alkaline food in the world, and in diseases like cancer cannot exist in an alkaline state. So you could get glutathione from meat, but algae is 1,400 times more glutathione than meat, and it doesn't stimulate mTOR pathway like meat does. So if you're over 40, you need to be aware of this, because Glutathione's great for stimulating, and a lot of these aminos for stimulating muscle growth when you're younger. But as you get older, we just have more cancer cells because we've just been living longer and we have more toxins. So there's a greater likelihood you'll stimulate the cancer growth as you age. It just is what it is. So this is your protection against that because it's alkaline. The amino acids on their own are not alkaline. Algae is the most alkaline food in the world. It's your safety valve.
That's why I wanted you to meet Dr. Anna Kabecka, because she's all keto green, alkaline. So I'm glad you guys connected.
Yeah, I was on her podcast and I've seen her like 3 times since then. We've been on the same speaker circuit.
I know you guys were both in Beverly Hills at that one. So last question, because we're going to run out of time. I just touch on anything else in mitochondria, the importance of mitochondria health. You mentioned it a few times, how important that is for the endurance athlete and recovery and parent performance.
All right, I'm going to show you 2 charts and I'll try to make this really quick because it's important that you understand.
Here, let me get I'll change the view of the slide so it's just speaker. Here we go.
So here's your cell, and in your cell, you have your nucleus. And you have these little peanut-shaped things that are mitochondria. Now, and by the way, just in case, just so you know how important this is, the highest concentration of mitochondria are where your highest energy needs are. There are 2 million mitochondria, 2 million of these per cell in your brain. 2 million. Crazy. The next highest is actually women's eggs. There's 600,000 mitochondria per cell, because it takes a lot of energy to make another human, and anyone who's having fertility issues, it's a mitochondria problem. The next highest is your heart, which is 5,000 to 7,000, and the next are muscles. Athletes, listen up. You have 5,000 mitochondria per cell in your muscles. Now so mitochondria are where your energy, your ATP, is produced. Okay, it's inside that mitochondria. I'm going to give a bigger chart to show you. So here's your mitochondria. Your ATP is produced inside the mitochondria, but a byproduct of ATP production is free radicals. And the problem is your mitochondria DNA, yes, they have their own DNA. There's only 37 of them, but they control everything else in your entire body. Your mitochondria DNA are located right inside where the ATP and free radicals are produced. This means your mitochondria DNA are fried every nanosecond because they are getting so exposed to free radicals. Now, your regular DNA is nowhere near where the action is, because here's your mitochondria. That's where your DNA are, the mitochondria DNA, and where the free radicals are. Here's your regular nucleus. It lasts a lifetime because it's nowhere near where the free radicals are being generated, but your mitochondria DNA are exactly ringside. And so what happens when you have free radicals being produced, have you ever seen they're basically, they create free radicals it's oxidative stress. So if you've ever seen a car that's been abandoned in a field or a boat, an old boat, you see rust, right? Big holes. Oxidation is the equivalent of rusting. You are rusting from the inside. And the greatest number of free radicals are produced by carbs. Don't carb load. They are causing long-term damage. A keto diet creates fewer carbs, and algae and fasting virtually 0. So number 1, the first way to reduce free radical damage is reducing your carb load, because more free radicals are produced. And when you have damage to your mitochondria DNA, they die, they send wrong signals to the rest of the cells, to the rest of your nucleus, and they stop performing. That means the mitochondria in your muscles will stop performing if they are damaged. So there's another way to protect yourself from that free radicals, and those are there's 4 antioxidants, only 4, that can get into that inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now, you probably didn't notice, so I'll show it again. Your mitochondria actually are the only cell structure in your body with 2 membranes. All of your cells have an outer membrane, all of them, including mitochondria. It's a lipid membrane, and it has these things called porins. They're little channels that allow proteins and antioxidants in and out. So your regular antioxidants, like you would get from blueberries, would work on all of your other cells, but your mitochondria have a second inner membrane in there that is impenetrable to any traditional antioxidants. The only ones that can get in there are glutathione, melatonin, superoxide dismutase, and chlorophyll. I'll say those again. Well, there's 3 that your body makes: glutathione, melatonin, and superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD. Now, the good news is your body makes those, but only as long as you hit the age of 30. After the age of 30, the production of those 3 antioxidants drop and drop and drop. And at the same time, you are exposed to more toxins, you have more cancer cells, and your inflammation level goes sky high. So by the time you hit 40 and 50, you don't have the protection that you automatically had when you were younger. So your mitochondria, this is why people start getting cancer, heart disease, all sorts of chronic illnesses after the age of 40, because the mitochondria are getting so damaged because they don't have those antioxidants they used to have when you were younger. When you were 16 or 18, you'd go to a party, you could work out multiple times, recover quickly. That's because you had all these great antioxidants that were in your system, but they stopped being created as you age. Now, the problem is those antioxidants aren't available in large quantities, virtually zero, actually. It's as close to zero as you're going to get from any food. I mean, you can get a small from meat, but you can get a small amount of chlorophyll from vegetables, and virtually zero SOD from anything. But the good news is algae has the highest of those 4 antioxidants in the world: glutathione, melatonin, superoxide dismutase, and chlorophyll. The highest in the world naturally, and I have the lab test to prove it. So when you start giving your body these critical 4 antioxidants, which are the only 4 that can get into that inner membrane of your mitochondria to stop free radical damage, you can flatline inflammation. This literally flatlines aging. This flatlines deterioration in your athletic career. This is the answer to everything. It's just floors me that this is available to us from algae. And the science of this has been around for over 60 years, but it exists in pockets of people who know cell biology or evolutionary biology. And I'm going to tell you why algae has everything that can get into that inner membrane and why it works so well. And this really floored it. And I know we have to wrap up, but I need you to know this because
it's big.
This is big. This is really big. And you'll know it when you found the truth, it resonates with you. So remember when I said at the very beginning, algae was the first life on Earth 4 billion years ago? This is very, very important. It was a cyanobacteria, single cell organism, anaerobic cell that started growing. On Earth, there was no oxygen. There was just gas and water. Nobody knows why this little single cell started growing, but it did. It was a cyanobacteria. And as it grew, it generated ATP, which meant it released oxygen. So after 1 billion years, there was enough oxygen for larger aerobic cells to start growing. This, by the way, is all proven in evolutionary biology. I'm not telling you anything that's not scientifically documented. So now you have these larger cells that are aerobic, but they weren't generating ATP as well. So I can imagine the conversation with the big cell looking at the little cell saying, hey, little guy, I see you're struggling there with all this oxygen, because the original cell was an anaerobic cell, did not do well in oxygen. Now there's so much oxygen, it's struggling. So the big cell engulfed the little cell, but did not digest it. That it basically said, let's coexist. So it's like when you have a friend of yours gets kicked out of their apartment, they go, hey, can I come and stay with you? And you go, okay, fine. But then they do your laundry, they pick up your groceries, they pick up your dry cleaning, and you go, hey, stay forever. So that's exactly what happened. Little cyanobacteria, like spirulina is a cyanobacteria, original cyanobacteria got engulfed, that was by itself 4 billion years ago, got engulfed by the big cell, but instead of digesting it, it just stayed. And that cyanobacteria became your mitochondria. It's proven in evolutionary biology. It's called endosymbiotic theory. It's in every NIH article that talks about mitochondria. This is algae. Algae became your mitochondria. So
fascinating.
It's absolutely fascinating. So that's why I want you to understand why there's two membranes on your mitochondria. The original one, the inner one, is from the original days when it was a bacteria. And then when it got engulfed, it had that second lipid membrane put around it. This is why traditional antioxidants can't get into the inner membrane of the mitochondria, because it's not part of the structure. And this is why everything that's in algae does get in there, because your mitochondria and algae are virtually the same thing. There are receptors that allow all the nutrients, glutathione, superoxidase mutase, and chlorophyll in there. Crazy, right?
Yeah, fascinating.
I tell you, it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe, I discovered this back in January. I thought,
wow.
And it still gives me shivers when I talk about it. And I will send you some articles with links to all these scientific. I encourage anyone to research on their own. You'll see I'm telling you exactly what happened. So if you ever had any doubt that algae, isn't a game changer for your life, think again. You who are listening came from algae. Your mitochondria came from algae, and your health, your performance, your athletic career rely on your mitochondria health. When your mitochondria are damaged, your health is damaged, your performance is damaged. It's that simple. So your number one job is to feed your mitochondria, protect your mitochondria. They are your lifeline to extending your career as a human and as an athlete. And algae is the best way to do that.
Amazing. Well, we got to end on that, because I got to give it another call, but we'll add everything in the show notes, you guys. So all the research, if you're thinking this is weird, woo-woo, we have the research links to send you. So pretty amazing, fascinating stuff.
And when you come to our website, ENERGYbits.com, we have a 20% discount code for you. The code is the low carb athlete. All one word, no spaces between it, the low carb athlete, and 20% off everything. We have really cool canisters. You can just shake the top.
I like the new look. Looks great.
Bag. So, and we have lots of science there, and we have a blog with lots of links. So come and check us out at ENERGYbits.com. We're on social, ENERGYbits, Facebook, Twitter, and but it's amazing stuff. It's a gift to us from Mother Nature. And my final comment is, algae isn't new. It's just new to you. And we provide you with a safe, third-party lab tested, clean, concentrated version of it. And we're sold through doctors and cryotherapy centers. So you can trust it.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Catherine. You're amazing, filled with knowledge.
Thanks, Debbie. You're the best.